Gosh, thank you for your patience, everyone. So the project focuses, the study is complete, and we focused on US 17 corridor, but we didn't just focus on the corridor itself because there's all of this, one of the reasons that the secretary put the planning studio together was because he wanted to link the land use and the transportation. So you'll see that throughout the presentation. We focused on US 17 from Motor Pool Road down to Cypress Gardens Boulevard. So there's lots and lots of projects in between there, but we went out to the public. We had a great, we had a lot of feedback from our public meeting, and we took it to the Carols in the Park, which was an awesome event, and I got a lot of feedback from them. It was really, the cool part about it was actually informing them, because they asked a lot of questions on what do these treatments mean. Let me go back one slide. These treatments down here, I don't know if anybody remembers the posters, but we showed them what kind of treatments we could do to the roadway to make it more user-friendly. Here's our schedule, and again, like I said, the project is complete. So the rest is up to the city and the the TPO and local partnerships to make this happen. So here's where we started. This framework started with placemaking along US 17 because we want to bring, your vision is to extend the downtown and bring it out onto 17 and make those destinations more walkable and viable and make it a better place, safer, and add some placemaking in there. The state roadways have a tendency to not have any place or identity. So we use that framework there. We used your blue-green framework of all your beautiful lakes and how you're going to connect to them and how you can make that a viable place with some identity, connecting your downtown and destinations. We also focused on multimodal safety at the intersections on east-west connections, because that's where, you know, your downtown is, we do know that US 17 is a barrier, and it stops people from getting to the west side safely. That's what we heard a lot in our public input. So US 17 is, we feel, is your corridor gateway to Winter Haven. As you enter it from either end, you're entering Winter Haven itself, the city, and in all of its destinations and all of its wonderful opportunities. So there's great things that we can do onto US 17, like calming the traffic, so that people slow down and actually see what, you know, what Winter Haven has to offer. Strengthen the multimodal connections. So your arrival is more pleasant. Strengthen the community identity again, like I was saying, and enhance bicycle pedestrian amenities. We have your great linear park off to the east. We want that park to connect over to the west side of US 17. So, and I say we, I say the community and the input that we heard. So when I do a study, I own the project. So I say we as if it was me living in your community. Our goals that we heard were economic development, quality of life, and safety. That was a big deal on our poster boards when people said it was home to them. They felt safe there. They wanted, they wanted it to, their quality of life to improve. So, and already the city is wonderful. And I know that all of you sitting here in this meeting had a lot to do with that. So we would like to see US 17 follow suit. When you talk about economic development, you talk about form-based code overlay district. Some of these things that we're proposing have to be a public-private partnership. You have a lot of say in how all of this happens. So maybe one thing that you can do is to help your local government get there. with corridor gateways. Like I said, on either end of this corridor is a perfect opportunity to have a grand entrance into your city. We have a Pope Avenue pedestrian promenade proposed, which will get you from the lake to the city safely, get people out of their cars more often than and connect to the city. So when you talk about quality of life, you're talking about good connections, whether it be on land or Blueways, making transit service and amenities more frequent and more comfortable. We need shade trees. You need, you know, amenities where people are going to feel like they want to take this service. Public art, you have plenty of public art in the city. We'd like to see, people would like to see that come out onto 17 and create that identity. And of course, safety is certainly not last. It's of the utmost importance. We need some median treatments. We need ways for people to cross east-west and get to their amenities. We heard a lot about up in the area near Publix and things where there's some assisted living and people that are crossing up in the northern part of this corridor. So again, the gateways are Havendale and US 17, perfect opportunity for a gateway. Form-based code overlay district, we have given all of these short-term, long-term, midterm, and long-term potential projects and proposed things to do to make this to a viable corridor. Again, buildings, these setbacks, when development comes in, it's super, super important that you bring these buildings up to the road so that the people are prioritized, not the vehicles. The vehicles should be in the back. And what happens is when you're driving down the road, it creates enclosure, and it creates a, you know, when you drive through your downtown area and you got this closure, you don't want to go fast. You want to see all this. It creates that different type of placemaking and identity that you want on your corridor. So we looked at your grid system. You have a beautiful grid system. Sometimes it's broken up by the lakes, and in this picture it shows areas that we took a look at that you can bring that grid system back to connect and help people get around more easily than getting everybody onto that arterial roadway. If you bring back these connections in these proposed areas, it'll help alleviate some of that congestion and onto US 17, and also help pedestrians and more vulnerable users get there in a different way also. So it disperses the traffic for all modes, enhances walkability, and it makes it easier to cross this in more places than just one. You got your wayfinding, which we already see all over the city. We'd like to see some of that on US 17. We talked about public art and how important that is, as you know. We talk about trail extensions and connections. So we have proposed a little bit more to add to your existing facilities to really make it viable and bring that economic vitality to the city, and again, to start connecting all other areas and other regions and other amenities, and you'll see your development just, I'm sure you already know, I'm preaching to the choir, I'm sure, but at least you have a plan written down here that you can start to show the developers and show the city what you know, how we can make this take this plan and bring it to life. Here's your Blueways, lots of proposed improvements for ecotourism. And here is your Pope Avenue pedestrian promenade. This here, we have outlined in the proposal to the city some phases that you would go through to get to this point. Obviously, you'd have to work with the private folks who own this this property along Pope Avenue and sell this to them, but it's so hard to get people out of their car if they don't feel safe. If they see this attraction on Pope Avenue that brings them into the city and gets them out of the car, and development starts to, you know, fill in on Pope Avenue, you have your link and your connection to the city. Again, it's going to take phasing. You could start off with, you know, this is the ultimate concept, but you could start off with having one-way traffic in a sense where it's half the street is for cars. They got to go real slow because you're creating this enclosure, and you can put the other half to a promenade, or you can just outright just do it as a priority to pedestrians to get that connection to your city. There's lots of ways to go about it, but this is just like the an idea, concept idea to get this, to get the connection moving. Here's your median treatments in the on US 17 where you need. This is a catch-22 on median enclosures, okay? If you plant the trees, you're gonna get the enclosure and get people to slow down. If you don't plant them, it acts, to me personally, as an opportunity to get cars to speed up. So it's all in not one treatment works. It's all in a manner of a lot of things put together will get you to the place where you want to be, to make that place an identity. We're looking at, this is a new concept for the department. We're talking about complete streets. We're talking about complete intersections. These intersections, if you'll look closely here, these islands that are sort of protruding out from the corner, those are where it keeps the car from making the tight corner and coming very close to the pedestrian. It keeps them out. And the purpose of that is, if you see up in the one corner where the car is turning, he has time to slow down and see who's in that crosswalk. So you're not causing a ramp effect where the car can speed up and move quickly. In an area where you want the pedestrians to be prioritized, this is what you would like to see on your intersections to make it safer for vulnerable users to go east-west on your corridor. Kind of calming traffic and creating a different environment. Also, again, we speak of transit services and amenities, and having more, an area where people can refuge and get away from the sun and the shade. Talking about active transportation. This will only work if people feel safe and, you know, and ask themselves, will I get out of my car and choose another mode to go explore the area? So our next steps, I should have changed this, but our next steps are that we need to go to the TPO board. That is the last step. We're waiting on a resolution from the city council to accept the recommendations, take a look at them, figure out which ones they would like to see go forward, come to a resolution, and then it goes to the TPO board for inclusion into the long-range transportation plan. And then from that, the city can put in applications to get some of these projects moving forward. Katie, back to you.
Yes, so thank you, Deborah. So I will send out the report to the group so you can read kind of the full report that you know, Deborah referenced today. But one thing that I think is exciting about this process is that it was so collaborative with the community and really involved a lot of different stakeholders that came together and talked about what they are interested in seeing in this corridor. So, and it's a very long corridor. It's a corridor that has a lot of different characteristics, if you want to call any of it character. It's got some different character along the different segments. So I want to open it up to any questions that people might have. And like I said, you are all muted at this point. So if you do have a question, please just go ahead and speak up. I don't see anything in the chat window right now.
I've got a quick one for Deborah. One, we're working on those resolutions. We hope to get them in front of the City Commission very soon. Two, DOT has been working on a complete street plan for First Street. And I don't know if you're aware of that, from Central Avenue to, I think it's Avenue O, northeast. And about a month or two ago, they presented some of their preliminary design stuff to us. And it didn't include a lot of these types of treatments. And maybe we can have a discussion offline. I'd love to maybe try to get a meeting with those folks, and maybe with your help, see if we can get some of these same kind of treatments that you've presented for US 17 over on First Street as part of that complete street project.
Yes, I would love that, Eric. Sounds great.
Yeah, I would think you would want them to be consistent, since they bookend the downtown core as they're going through. So any other questions for Deborah on the US 17 project? And Deborah, I know you might not have a full presentation on the Cypress Gardens Boulevard corridor, but do you mind touching base on that project as well? Because I think that's an important one for our members to know that is being worked on.
Sure, we have we're in the same place with that. We're waiting on a resolution from the city to adopt the recommendations. One of the larger proposals is to, and again, that one goes through a phasing. We proposed phasing to get it to the ultimate design also, more walkable, and it's amazing how the data shows how many people are really walking on that roadway. And I'm talking Legoland South, where the roadways is very rural and high speed. There's still people on that corridor, which amazes us. So we're trying to change the environment, and that main intersection at Legoland and Cypress Gardens Road or Boulevard is proposing one of these protected intersections to help people cross safely, and to start bringing down the speed of the traffic and create that gateway effect into that portion of the area. Whether it be a roundabout or a protected intersection, these types of treatments slow the traffic down before they enter an area where there's a lot of ped and bike activity. We're in the same place. That study is also complete. So we're just waiting on the city and the resolution, and it'll follow its process, and we can hopefully get some things accomplished and projects on the road, on the ground.
Mm-hmm.